Here's a closer look at the Wallabies' 31-man squad to travel to the Rugby World Cup. Welcome back to SkinnyBru Rugby, guys. So it's the second big Southern Hemisphere team that has announced their whole squad for the Rugby World Cup. It's Australia, of course, and there is a few surprises. I'll have a look at that, and I'll also have a look at all of the players included in the team. If you want to see more international content, please hit that subscribe button. I really do appreciate it. Here is the squad for the Rugby World Cup. At props, they picked a conventional number for a World Cup. They picked 5, Ala Alatoa, Kepu, Slipper, Sio and Tupou. There's a lot of strength in this front row, especially Sio and Ala Alatoa. Slipper, he's not been at the best form, but with that experience you get from him, you have to include him in that side. At the hookers, they picked 3 as well as a lot of the other teams also go with 3 hookers. They went with Fahinga, Latu and Ulisi. One of the main reasons guys go with 3 hookers is because of rugby regulations, World Rugby's regulations on front rowers. You need to have at least 6 in a team, 3 in the start and 3 on the bench. If you fail to put a team out with specialized front rowers with enough experience in that role, you could get fined and you could lose your match points. So Fahinga, he's the strength at maul time, not as good as Latu though. Latu is probably the best hooker still in Australia for me. He's the player of the moment there. He's good at his lineouts, he's good all over the park. He must be the number 1 choice for the hooker position. Then Ulisi, pretty surprised that they took him. He hasn't really showed anything that he could actually do, but who else would they have picked? There's no actual other guy that has stood out, and he's actually just there as cover for the other 2. In the locks, they went with Arnold, Coleman, Rodda and Simmons. Obviously Arnold and Rodda, they are the in-form locks at the moment. They are very good. Most countries would have loved to have them in their squads. They are very good at running with the ball, good at maul time. They are good with their strategies all over the park, good at calling lines, so they are pretty good to have in their squad. Coleman, he was not named in the initial squad because of his injuries that kept him out, but he's very good in general, so hopefully he does step it up for the Rugby World Cup. Then obviously Simmons is also there. He's probably there for his experience, and while he isn't doing anything wrong, he is going to bring a lot of experience from the bench. Loose forwards, they went with Dempsey, Hooper, Naisarani, Pocock and Salakaya-Loto. Salakaya-Loto, Naisarani and Hooper, they are looking like they are the starting loose forwards at the moment. But remember, Pocock has also been included, even though he is still recovering from his injury. Hopefully he does make it back in the World Cup. They haven't really talked about it much, but hopefully he does make it back because he is a very good player. He'll probably replace Salakaya-Loto at the moment, but he's also included Salakaya-Loto for his locks ability, so he could cover that position as well. Scrum halves, they only went with 2, Ginya and White. It's the conventional move to make if you have 3 hookers, just to take 2 scrum halves, just so that you have a little bit more depth in all positions. What will South Africa actually do in that situation? Because Rassie has already said we are taking 3 hookers and 3 scrum halves, so that's going to be quite interesting because you do lose a little bit of depth in another position if you go with 3 hookers and 3 scrum halves. But they went with their 2 scrum halves. Who will actually start between these 2? Because I mean, Ginya, he had 1 good game, 1 bad game. White as well, 1 good game, 1 bad game. So it's actually a tough call to make about of who's gonna actually get that number 9 jersey. At fly halves, or the first 5/8, they went with Foley and Lialifano. Lialifano, he looks to be favourite to get that number 10 jersey. He's been very consistent this whole season. Foley, he's been questionable at times, but again, in this situation, who else would they have picked? Foley, he does have that experience. I do believe he's still a very good player. He just needs to tick into gear again, and then everything will go great again. Inside center, or second 5/8, they went with Karevi and Tumua. Karevi, he's in the form of his life, and he will be leaving Australia after the Rugby World Cup, so he will want to have the best competition that he can and put his best foot forward. Of course, because of the Australians not picking guys with less than 60 caps that are playing overseas. Tumua, he's also there for fly half cover, and he can basically just slot in most positions on the field. Outside centre, Kuridrani, O'Connor, and then a surprise inclusion of Petaia, the Reds player. I didn't think he will make it because of his injuries that kept him out of most of the Super Rugby. He is a very good player of what I saw, the little of what I saw. I know he has been back from his injury playing domestic rugby and so on, but I don't get coverage of that, so I have no idea what he can actually do. What I have seen in the past and videos and tributes and that kind of stuff, he is quite a good player, so I think it might be a master stroke from them. Think of him as that 19-year-old prodigy that you have in your side. He can cover most positions. Everyone does speak very highly of him, and of course you can compare him to another guy that used to be a prodigy, O'Connor, who actually made it back into the squad and is also going to the Rugby World Cup after being left out of the Australian team for years, having troubles, personal troubles, and being on the verge of never being picked again. He's back there, and he's obviously there for cover for basically the whole back line. That's good for them. And then Kuridrani, he's probably going to be in a fight for that number 13 jersey with O'Connor, because O'Connor did play well. Again, just like White and Guinea, one good game, one bad game, so we'll have to see what goes on there. Outside backs, they went with veteran Adam Ashley Cooper, who could obviously cover centre and most backline positions as well. Beale, he's probably favoured to get that 15 jersey, but could also slot in at centre and number 10. Then Haylett, Petty, Hodge and Karabetti. The three Rebels guys will probably be fighting for spots as wingers. Hodge will probably be picked though because of his kicking boot that can just slot over from a mile away. So it's going to be a battle between Haylett, Petty and Karabetti for that number 11 jersey. So it's been tough. Both guys have had good games, both have had bad games. So the Wallabies, they are in a position where they've had some mixed games this season. They've had one loss to South Africa, one win over Argentina, then a miraculous win over New Zealand, a big one actually, and then a massive loss to New Zealand in the week after. So that's quite bad for them. You don't know what to make of the squad. And then they went with a natural pick of 17 forwards, 14 backs. That's a natural split. That's what most teams are going to do. That means they are good. They are well covered in most positions, so that's also good for them. They have a lot of guys that can play in multiple roles. It's also very good to have in a World Cup. They are playing in Pool D, which is featuring them, Wales, Georgia, Fiji and Uruguay. They are probably second favourites to win that pool. Wales, I think, is favourites to win the pool. And then guys like Fiji and Georgia, they could surprise the bigger guys. Those guys, Georgia and Fiji, I think will target the Australian game because they are the weaker between Australia and Wales. And then Fiji, they are kicking off their Rugby World Cup against Australia actually on 21 September. And I think Fiji might be targeting this one for a win. Fiji has been looking very good. Guys, that's it for me for today. That's how the team looks. Let me know in the comments below what you would have done if you were Michael Checker. And then please hit the subscribe button if you do like my content. And then I'll see you for the next video. Cheers.